Hi, my name is Emily Rinaldi, and I'm a second-year mentee in Girls Right Now. My piece was inspired by something my mentor Molly wrote about things that annoy her. This is kind of like my version of that. Annoyance, the feeling or state of being annoyed, irritation, something we've all felt at one time or another in our lives. By human nature, it is inevitable. People, places, and sometimes things are just annoying. We can all admit to having a pet peeve, something that simply ignites that irking feeling of discomfort. Whether it is caused by someone biting their nails or being extremely indecisive or even telling bad jokes, sorry in advance, no one can deny that feeling of being annoyed. Thankfully, I'm not easily annoyed, and when I am, I get over it relatively quickly. Still, over the years, I've developed opinions about things that have eventually grown into petty nuisances that I feel stupidly passionate about, to say the least. Here are a few things that annoy me. Happy Feet. The mere description of this movie gives me enough reason to hate it. Into the world of emperor penguins who find their soulmates through song, a penguin is born who cannot sing, but he can tap dance something fierce. It's already a combination of three things I hate. Ice, bad tap dancing, and even worse, men trying to attract women with that same bad tap dancing. I distinctly remember watching it as a small 6-year-old thinking it was just utterly stupid. Since then, I've refused to rewatch it, and I don't even know why I entirely hated it so much, but considering my stubbornness, I probably never will. But what I do know is that when anyone asks me something that I hate, my answer has often been Happy Feet. I do remember 6-year-old me not liking how a seal almost ate the penguins and wondering how they managed to make a 2-hour movie over a penguin who wanted a girlfriend, and quite frankly, I don't blame that girl. Honestly, though, whose bright idea was it to make this movie? I just want to talk. Bad clarinet playing. Yes, sadly, I do play the trombone, the infamous farting instrument. And if you don't, sorry. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just consider yourself lucky. Sorry. For those who don't know, I'm sorry. For those who don't know, bad trombone playing is really awful and can do a fairly admirable job at portraying what a public bathroom after Taco Tuesdays in a bad Mexican restaurant sounds like. But what can possibly be worse than that? Worse than obnoxious, gross, and splatty low brass notes? My answer is bad clarinet playing. That is worse. And in no means is this bashing the clarinet as an instrument. In fact, good clarinet playing can sound angelic. It may even be my favorite instrument. But when it's bad, definitely not angelic. It can maybe be that same angel falling from heaven, but not angelic. Okay, so fine, perhaps I'm exaggerating a bit, but am I really? When a clarinet is played badly, everything somehow sounds flat, and when it magically doesn't, it sounds like they're blowing air through a hollow piece of wood. Then they squeak. Don't even get me started on the squeaking. I really hope a clarinet player isn't listening to this, and if you are, I'm sorry, I'm sure you're great. Staten Island ferry. If you Google things to do in Staten Island, the first thing that comes up is the Staten Island ferry. First, let's acknowledge the fact that the top thing to do in Staten Island is to get out of Staten Island. Even if you're one of the few people in this room from the Forgotten Borough, this definitely does not come as a surprise. Even if you're not from Staten Island, this still probably doesn't come as a surprise. Staten Island really doesn't have too much to offer. We've got the impractical jokers, moms who take 6th grade flag football way too seriously, and orange guys with fake tans, but that is all besides the point. The point is that besides the not-so-subtle hints telling you to leave, Google is misleading. In reality, the ferry sucks. Well, the Staten Island ferry terminal sucks. The boat itself isn't too bad. It's a free boat ride with a view of the Statue of Liberty and a nice skyline. But the terminal, on the other hand, is a completely different story. Between the fully grown man who told me that if I keep it up, I'll be married soon after I told him I was 15, to the guy who was lip-syncing terribly to Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You, a performance which, by the way, is still more in tune than the clarinet. On top of that, there's a special breed of people there, tourists. I have seen a lot of tourists in my lifetime, and have been one just as much, but there are regular tourists, and then there are New York tourists. These people are next level. They actually use fanny packs. If I told you the amount of overwhelmed parents with their hyper children walking in a single file line with I Heart New York t-shirts on, you would think I'm lying. I think I'm gonna start taking the express bus. Too tight ponytails. Lots of guys and girls can probably relate to this one if you have long hair. Picture this. You're sitting quietly in class, or you're writing an article, or you're exercising, and your head begins to hurt. A sharp pressure, a feeling that seems to resonate throughout your entire head. Did I drink enough water, you ask? Do I need to eat something? Am I stressed, tired? And then it hits you. You touch your head and realize that cute, practical high ponytail you've had in for 6 hours is finally deciding to make its appearance felt. By instinct, you try to fix it. You adjust the hair tie or tug at the specific part of your mane in an attempt to make the pain go away without messing up that practical ponytail that actually took you 20 minutes to do. But of course, that is not the case. Instead, your hair is now some gigantic frizzy mess with these big weird waves that once held a hair tie. At this point, it is safe to say that cute and practical ponytail isn't cute or practical anymore. And then there's that rare occasion that you finally have figured out a way to make it look somewhat decent, but somehow that one spot still hurts. Now, what purpose does annoyance have? Confucius or some esteemed therapists may argue it's a part of life, that it only makes us stronger, or that it equips us with the tools we need in order to face events or people that we may not enjoy, but we deal with anyways. Maybe on some specific or scientific or actual intellectual level, and not according to a 16-year-old's opinion, that may be true, but I still disagree. In life, we've got enough uncomfortable, unpleasant feelings that make us stronger, like sadness or anxiety or anything else, but being annoyed is just, well, annoying. I'd rather face an emotion that is actually caused by a genuine issue or something that in the end would make me stronger. Annoyance usually fades quickly unless it's mixed with other bad feelings. Instead, it usually dissipates, deciding to ruin our week, day, or even just an hour, but nonetheless pointlessly ruins it. So what has annoyance taught me? Overall, nothing. Maybe not to let my future child play the clarinet or to find the closest express stop, but still overall nothing. Now, if you would excuse me, I have to go loosen my ponytail.